exciting to be here. Actually, I'm amazed that I'm here. This was the last thing I thought I'd be when I grew up. I was a little nerdy girl who read a lot, and my dad was an old-fashioned doctor with a waiting room and patients, and he had a lot of magazines. And I used to sneak down into the waiting room and read the magazines, and they had cartoons in them, big panel cartoons, the Saturday Evening Post, and Ladies' Home Journal, and Good Housekeeping. And I used to love those cartoons, but I never thought anything about who does them and how do you do them and can I do them. I had no clue. But many years later, I became an English major, obviously. This is what big readers usually do. And it's a wonderful start. And I taught English in District 3 here in Huntington. And I wanted to say that I'm the surprise here because I didn't expect this. But you are a designated, and you've been, let me read what they said about you. You are a special, more intelligent, more mature demographic of all the readers. And I'm proud that you're my readers. I think part of it was we don't do, John and I never do what some cartoonists have to do. They dumb it down, that, cartoon expression. They put it in dialogue or bad grammar, or they don't make references to things that everybody should know. And we have never done that right from the beginning. The Lockhorns was, for me, good grammar and so forth. And we assume that you are all culturally literate, which, the teaching biz, that's really important. So I wanted to say that the two questions we get asked is it autobiographical? And it really is not. It was our plea for people to be kind to one another by showing how silly you look when you say nasty things or demean each other. And it seems to have struck a chord, and it's become universally sound. We get all kinds of fan mail and feedback from people who are intelligent and have a sense of humor and are mature, and they're all walks of people. We get marriage counselors who say that they use the cartoons to lighten the mood and to help people. We get notes from AA. Alcoholics Anonymous has always loved when their people bring in the cartoons, and that also lightens the mood and makes people feel comfortable and able to talk. And so we've gotten amazing feedback, including young people who said that it made their lives bearable when their parents were spatting. They suddenly burst out laughing, and it made life livable, including an amazing miracle. But in my syndicate, they just suddenly assigned us a new editor, and it turned out they're in Kansas City. She grew up in Long Island reading the Lockhorns. She loved it. She said it set her career. She actually got a master's in something, and she has taken over as an editor at Andrews McMeel Universal Syndicate, which is probably the biggest. And so that was such an amazing, wonderful coincidence. We couldn't believe it. But she's one of the many. And so we do the gross exaggeration and hyperbole of saying things that are outrageous, which makes you laugh at them and see how silly it is when you demean your best friend, the person you live with or you have a relationship with. It just makes you look silly. And you might have noticed John whipped up that drawing of Leroy sitting, not unusual, a situation we come upon very often, of Leroy sitting at a table with an obvious food. And some of the captions that we've used in the past relate to that. He says, "Is this the steak or the charcoal?" Or, "Who made the Caesar salad, Brutus?" Well, we assume you all know who Julius Caesar and Ruth. That was part of the cultural literacy that you all possess. We have Fig Newtons for dessert.
Just like that.
Fig Newtons for dessert. What's the occasion? The trouble with kale is it tastes like kale. This cured ham must have had a relapse. And the last one is, this is my lucky day. I don't have much of an appetite. So you see, we take a situation and stretch it. And the one thing true about the autobiographical part of the strip is that the cooking is true. And I'm upset. I mean, basically, I'm adjusted, but I'm very unlucky in the kitchen. And it's caused some wonderful lines like those. And John really capitalizes on it. Leroy's expression when he sees some of these meals is absolutely priceless. And I do want to say something about John. He's one of the last cartoonists in the world drawing by hand. Every cartoon you see in the paper. He's amazing. It's his choice. People are using computers and all kinds of shortcut gimmicks. And John is old school and doing gorgeous artwork. And I appreciate him more than anything. And of course, my team, Adrian Sinnott, has been our computer graphic person for years and is essential. He is he's a professor of computer graphics and art at Farmingdale University, which is the university now. And he's been there. I want to thank my wonderful children and grandchildren for showing up and helping me, and my son who lives with me. And by the way, I'm sure he'll be so angry. Today is his birthday. So I think he picked today because it avoided me baking a cake. In any case, that's all I have to say about my life, and you've read the biography, so you know the rest.
Thank you, Bunny.
You're welcome.
I would like to say something nice about Bunny, but I would also like to say that I have to confirm your cooking is pretty awful. I do have a story that Bill Hoest told me one time, is that he was sitting in the living room. I think Patty was there as well. And something horrible is coming from the kitchen. It smells terrible. I don't know what we're going to have for dinner. And it was only a while later they realized the garage was on fire. Apparently a floodlight had leaned up against some of the plasterboard and was burning a hole. But they thought that was dinner. But that was normal, I guess. But other than that, it's an extraordinary experience working with Bunny. This has been a great delight for me. And as you can see, it's been just fun from the beginning. What I really wanted to do very quickly was just give you a brief history of the Lockhorns, because nobody really seems to. I'm going to ask anybody to raise hands. Does anybody remember when it was first printed as the Lockhorns of Levittown? That was back in 1968. September 9th, 1968. And the story was that Bill was a very prolific and very talented magazine cartoonist that, you remember what magazines are as well, I guess. You can explain that to the younger audience. But going around on Wednesdays, they called them the Wednesday morning rounds. They would bring their stack of cartoons, give them to the editors who were willing to look at them. They would select the ones they wanted and pass on the ones they didn't. And Bill noticed that there were a number of past cartoons that were still very funny. And so as a single panel cartoonist, he sat down and said, I think I could do this as a comic strip. And he did it as a strip. So it was the premise, setup, punchline. Brought it to King Features, and the editor, Sylvan Bike, said, this is wonderful, but can you do it as a panel? I said, I think I can. And so he went back and he did it as a panel, and they bought it. And that started as the Lockhorns of Levittown. And in 1972, Newsday started its Sunday edition. And so they said, we want a Sunday. So that expanded it now to 7 days a week. And in the 1970s, Newsday was owned by the Los Angeles Times. And they said, if you take the Lockhorns of Levittown, drop the Levittown, we can make it more universal. And they did. They certainly was going to do that. And now, if I remember, over 500 papers in 23 different countries in 8 different languages, which means people are still fighting together over 23 countries and yelling at each other in 8 different languages. So apparently we're still here, thanks to all of you. So thank you very much for reading. And we will be around for another, I guess, 4 or 5 years at least, and then the contract comes up and we're probably going to sign again. So we hope we will continue reading. And just as kind of an inside, we do have some people that you might know. Harold Blogg, Dr. Blogg is the official doctor, and Dawn Pullman, who is the marriage counselor, is a friend of the family who has been married 3 times. So we thought that was funny. And famous Long Island attorney Ted Sklar, and we have a lot of friends that we mentioned in the strip, along with restaurants, hoping to get a table. We've been discovered. This is a great town. I mean, we really do get a lot of people coming here, and I'm looking at these people. I hope you all found a place to park. It is getting increasingly difficult to try and find a place to put the car, but. All I can tell you is that we're going to open this up to any kind of questions. But basically, the only thing I wanted to mention was that when I started, I was doodling in high school and college. And I got hired in my freshman year of college by Joe Simon, who was the co-creator of Captain America. He liked my work and he hired me. Teachers for all that time had said, you know, your doodling is not going to get you anywhere. You really should find another career, something on which to fall back. Maybe spot welding or something you can do. And I said, no, this is what I want to do. And so the teachers kept saying, it's never going to go anywhere. Well,
they said that to John Reiner too.
Yeah, and look at him.
Never amount to anything.
Yeah, and it's always a nice opportunity to look back and laugh at the people. I said, no, because that's what happened. I got a note from someone who said the comedian Phyllis Diller had been clipping the Lockhorns every day, was obsessed with a comic strip. And clipped every one, taped it to a 3x5 index card, and put it in her file, and based her act on the Lockhorns. Her husband, Fang, was based on Leroy Lockhart. If you go on her Wikipedia page, you'll see she gives credit. And so when she died, she donated it to the Smithsonian Institution. So I'm in the Smithsonian Institution. So take that, teachers who said my doodling will never go anywhere. I thought, wow. So all I could say is thank you very much for coming, supporting the independent bookstore, and for us. This means a lot because our big launch is here in Huntington, our hometown. So thank you very much, and we'll ask, and any questions we'll be happy to answer.